There was no warning at all that this was falling?
No warning.
There was no noise of anything cracking or anything?
No, the machine was running. You couldn't hear the cracking of the building.
So these men that were inside there then had no warning whatsoever?
No, just the ones that heard the cracking is only warning they could have had. Someone said that they hollered, but they couldn't hear him because the noise was already coming down. The building was already crashing.
Dr. Muller, what prompted your decision to resign from the staff here?
Gene, I've felt for some time that I needed a different kind of professional experience, and I think that at Fort Logan Mental Health Center in Denver, I'll find that.
You mentioned in our conversation earlier that the hospital there, as you put it, was progressive and open. Is that to reflect that this particular facility is not?
No, not at all. The difference is that 7 or 8 years ago in Denver, some battles were fought, and now there is considerable funding for the Fort Logan Mental Health Center. They're able to provide better and more ample staff and facilities for the patients served there. I think some of these battles have been fought here in Tarrant County and will need to be fought in the future to further improve mental health services for the patients of the county.
Now, our big chief, Dr. King, will now lock the grounds.
We'll just lock it up where it'll stay locked. Get through with sound now. We'll lock it up where it'll stay locked until they make these necessary corrections. And I want you to know that this is the key to this lock. And there it is. We'll throw it away. Gentlemen, this fair is closed.
That's good. Officially.
Thank you. And now we're hungry, so let's go eat.
As you can see, the sign reads, SMU welcomes Bob Hope. And did they ever? And the noise was deafening. Besides being greeted by 400 to 500 eager SMU students, Bob Hope was welcomed to Dallas today by SMU President Willis Tate and Dr. Fred Bryson, as well as SMU Mustang coach Hayden Fry. Bob Hope was made an honorary member of the SMU Mustang football team, and at a press conference after his arrival, he had these thoughts about that. Mr. Hope, do you think that your membership in the Mustang football team now is going to help them at all?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, honey, it can't hurt them. No, I think that was nice of Hayden Fry to come out and enlist me. He's getting some folks from Sun City, you know. But I've watched this team, as I said before, and they'll work it out, and I'll give them a few little pointers, because I've got the Ram book, and I've also got a Ram ulcer from the Ram, so I know what Hayden's going through, but he always does pull through, and they got some great talent, and SMU will get there, of course, with my help. Oh.
Receptions like you got today, why don't you move to Dallas?
Well, I might as well. I tell you, I usually I drop my laundry off here. I'm here a lot, you know. I'm here most of the time in Dallas. It's one of my local stops. In fact, my family comes here to meet me once in a while. They'll be here tomorrow. And I think that I have a lot to apologize to Dallas for. I've played here so many times.
What do you think will be the greatest advantage of playing in, so to speak, your own theater?
Well, I've never flopped within myself. No, it's a great kick to me to be here and play in this theater, and I don't know, I can't wait to take some pictures of me and just to send them to Crosby.
One thing you have to admit, in Dallas for the next few days at least, things will be anything but hopeless. This is Teal Salon at Dallas Love Field for Channel 8 News.
they were raised to go to church and respect their country and their family, and they were all good students. But now that we look back on it, we realized that a couple of years ago there was a change. And that's when the grades began to slip and the loss of interest in church and school affairs and things of this nature. But it kind of creeps up on you. You
began to have some arguments with them?
Yes, hostility began to build up.
Over little things. It wasn't something over major things, but the hostility came out over little things. Clean up your room, and it became what we call a federal case. Mm-hmm. We noticed personality problems. Our oldest boy, 20 years old, suddenly one day walks away from us, spits in our eye, and for no reason at all. We have these things come on you in a hurry. So what we'd like to do is to tell other people how this happened to us, what the symptoms were, so that they can recognize them and maybe get something out of it.
When did you first know for certain that narcotics, LSD, had become a part of your family?
Well, shortly before we went on vacation in late spring this year, Kathy and I had a mother-to-daughter talk, and she told me she had been smoking, but assured me that she had not been partaking of any drugs. However, she did mention that there was quite a bit of it in her school. Then we went on a trip to California. We took a girlfriend of hers with us, and after we came home, we found out that the older boy had been hospitalized for the use of LSD. And at one point he told us that the service had rejected him because of underweight. And yet Kathy told us later that it was not because he was underweight, it was because he had been using narcotics. She at one time was very conscious of the way she looked and the way she dressed and the way she cared for herself. Now that we look back over it, all the signs were there in that she began to let her care of herself go. Her room, her feelings for her church, her school. Kathy had been a good student, as had the older boy at one time. And then all of a sudden it comes home to you that it's all there right in front of you. The signs are there.
Grades dropped just all of a sudden.
You don't recognize it.
It was the last.
How long ago did she leave home?
It will be 6 weeks this Sunday.
Mr. Clark, what do we do now if the children decide to come home?
Well, this is the real problem. We let the older boy come home, and obviously he brought narcotics into the home. This is obvious to us now. He introduced the younger girl to an acquaintance with marijuana. So here I have another younger son in the home who is not inclined towards these things and who's a good Christian boy. What do I do? What would you do? Are you going to bring this serpent back in your house again and take a chance that it'll destroy another one of your children? What can you do? What would you do if you were in my position? 3 years ago we're raising our kids with a good value basis. We're teaching them Christian values. Forget it, we're not going to have any of this in our house.
But that's not your reaction anymore.
It certainly is not.
We always try to watch that on him. We all trying to keep our eyes on him, but I guess he got busy and overlooked it. And then when the tractor came through, they couldn't hear what was going on from the noise of it. It was going by sign about it anyways.
What actually caused it to fall?
The vibration from the tractor, the noise from the tractor.
Just the vibrations that the tractor caused as it was operating under?
Yes. When the operator just come from under there, pushing on the inside of the floor. And the vibration from the tractor is what caused it to fall.